Those dorms look familiar, man. Is
Oh
that
yeah.
Commons?
No. So last year Commons, but
Oh, let's
this year they
go.
put me on York. So, but it looks
York. Oh, okay. So I was one of my best friends actually when I was a sophomore. They lived up on York because not
yeah.
enough housing. So I used to take the shuttle up there all the time. The cafeteria is better up there, though. I will
Oh
tell you.
yeah.
That's
Yeah, I
your
love it.
advice.
I love it. Honestly, it's nice here because like
Yeah.
it's a different feel. Like, there's your classes. Like,
It's
it's
separate.
yeah.
I love York. I always thought York was awesome. I mean, I do like main campus, but I always kind of did it like if I was near class, I would stay at main campus. But like if it was like a slow day, yeah, you're not gonna see me on main campus.
Oh, no shot, no shot. All right. So basically, let me just get the voice memo just in case the recording doesn't save. All right. So this is the SB 101 class. We have like a interview we have to do. So it's like
Nice.
pick someone. People usually pick their parents, but
That's
I
not
I felt like why not go on Bobcat Connect, meet someone.
good.
Um,
That's good. I like that.
yeah. So last year I was a health science major, so I made the big switch. Like, it was finance was always my big like second option. Like, I just had to see through with that. So like
Nice.
I'm trying to kind of learn about the finance field. I don't really know that much. I know my brother's in finance, but other than that, I don't really know. So
It's
I have
cool.
I have a, I wrote a few questions down. So
Yeah, that's it.
all right. So uh I'll start off with what was your college journey like? So
My college journey was kind of a little weird. So, I'm from Connecticut. I'm like not. I grew up in Southie. I don't know if you're from the
no,
area or not, but it's like
I'm from New York. So no.
nice. Okay, so yeah. Anyways, it's like 30 minutes. I don't know if you know where ESPN is, but I live like right on. Well, anyways, I'm sure you know like what the facility, like what ESPN is.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
So like the main thing is in Connecticut. I lived like I could walk there. So I lived right there. I grew up. When I went to college, it was kind of like this or UConn. I decided to come here just because I knew so many people who went to UConn. I thought it was a little interesting trying to go somewhere where I didn't know anybody. It was a completely different like environment. I went to public school when I was in high school, so like going to like a private kind of school was completely different like people, which I did want, to be honest. I kind of wanted to have a nice diverse group of something that I wasn't used to. I kind of wanted to challenge myself. I started as a business undeclared major. I thought I was going to be like marketing or something, but turns out I took all the classes, like the intro classes, probably SB 101. I don't know who your teacher is, but maybe I had them.
Giglione. I don't know if I don't think she was.
I don't think so. Yeah.
Yeah, no
I
shot.
graduated 2019, so I'm a little older.
Uh,
But I started as undeclared, didn't really know what I wanted to do. But a lot of the classes, what's kind of cool about the business school is a lot of the classes you got to take anyway. So
yeah,
you have to run through everything. So by the time you take your finance classes, you've probably taken a little marketing, you've probably taken a little bit whatever.
yeah.
So I started as a finance major. That was like what I picked just because I thought I was like, hey, I'm pretty good at math. This is pretty easy. It's what I like to do. I can see myself doing something like this. Always kind of little interest in investment stuff, a little bit about that. I was in the same boat as you. I didn't know goddamn anything, sorry, about finance. I didn't know what to look for. I didn't know like expectations, like what I wanted to do. I just like, hey, I'm good at math. Let's do finance. So what happened was I took finances classes. I rotated a lot of advisors, to be honest. I don't know if I hope you don't have the same issue. A lot of them just kind of either they went to different schools or we just kind of like it might have been on me, like I didn't reply to the email or something. So I'll take advantage of that. Things happen. So I kind of took a lot of classes just doing it on my own. So I did a really weird schedule for my senior year. I took all like the basic classes that were like earth science that you're supposed to take freshman year and all
Uh,
that stuff. So I was like this senior with all these freshmen. They all looked at me like, what are you doing here? But that's only because I really just wanted to see like what was out there. I wanted to explore. I knew I could use a lot of the classes as electives. A lot of the classes, if you have a good relationship with your advisor, they'll be like, hey, this is close enough, whatever. So what happened was I took intro to micro and macroeconomics.
yeah, I'm taking micro right now.
Who's your teacher?
Lisa Ledoux. It's her first year.
Okay, yeah, so she's a little new. I'll have to meet her, I'm sure.
Hmm.
What happened was I just took economics classes. I was pretty good at it. There's a professor by the name of Linda Fisher. She taught both my micro and macro classes. And she was just like one day like invited me to her office. I was like, hey, you're really good at this. Like, have you ever thought about it? And I was like, I don't even know what I'm thinking about for finance, to be honest, Linda. Like, I don't have an advisor. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of like, I'm here, I'm taking my classes, I'm getting good grades, but there's not really a plan. So she was like, all right, you're going to be my advisor if you don't have one. So I basically became an economics major like right there. That was my sophomore year. And as I kind of told you, I took a lot of classes that I really weren't aligned with the plan. Like I didn't take the basic classes. So I had a lot of credits in the business school. So I was like, I'm a little stubborn. Didn't want to just waste all my money, you know, like I took all these classes. I was like, you know, I'm going to get my money's worth if I'm going to go to this school. So I just double majored with economics and finance. I personally preferred finance over economics just because for me, finance was a little like guess and check. A lot of independent work, which is cool and all. And like, if that's your thing,
Definitely
whatever.
my thing, yeah.
Yeah, I liked economics because like we would just like it's just more discussion based. So it's like a lot of things that like we discussed in class, like I saw in the real world, and I was like, oh, like this makes sense. Like, and then I could use that into other classes. So like everything that I did after like taking all the economics classes, like I would take finance and be like, oh, this is makes sense because like interest rates go down. This goes like this. And it's like a lot of people didn't have that advantage in finance because like they just knew the calculations and stuff. And I was like, oh no, like this makes sense from an economic standpoint. So that was really cool. I think that's probably some of the best advice I can give you is like, just go out there and try stuff. Like if you get a B or a C on a class, a lot of people will like freak out and be like, oh my God, my GPA. I honestly could not tell you what my GPA is. And I graduated 3 years ago. I had 2 degrees. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, take away something. So like learn something.
Right.
Don't like put all your time into figuring out like, this has to be perfect. I want my resume to be great. Like your resume will be good if you have a good time kind of thing. Like go do classes, go join clubs. Like if you go to the club one time, it's like, you know what, this isn't for me. Just, hey, maybe you made a friend there or whatever. So kind of stuff like that, which was super cool. Cause like by the time I was a senior, I've been in so many classes with so many people that it was just like, oh, I kind of knew everybody. So it was a lot easier, just the social aspect of it, just college in general. A lot of people just think college is like just schooling, and it's like there's that whole social aspect that's like,
yeah, I learned that lesson the hard way.
Yeah, and I mean, I even do like a little bit like if you get a chance, maybe if it does interest you, I do a lot of stuff for the economics club. Like I talk to them a bunch. So it's like stuff like that. Like I'm 3 years removed from graduating. I still talk to all the people I graduated with. I talk to the kids who are incoming, kids who are leaving, like some people who aren't in my thing. So I've met a lot of people just that way. I even went to my professor's house this summer and we had like a party. It was sick. So it was like stuff like that is like stuff that like you probably wouldn't think would happen, but
Yeah, no. See, like when I was a health science major, the problem was these teachers were not personable, like at all.
yeah.
I didn't say a word all year to any of them. They were so weird. And I
Yeah.
come here, you know, these teachers talking about sports gambling and like
Yeah.
more personal. Like that's why like I'm not too shocked about that.
Yeah. So I mean, that's kind of like, and I'm by the way, the finance I think is Killage still in charge of
I
finance?
have no idea.
I
I
don't know.
spoke to
Anyways, he's great.
I spoke to Chelikani, Michael Taylor, and then like they would never respond to me ever. So it was a whole process.
Yeah. So if you do like I would definitely like take it. You've already switched majors. What are you, a sophomore?
Yeah.
I don't use that as an advantage because there's going to be times like I remember when I was in economics and they were like there are other people with health science majors and they were like, oh, like this is like actually relevant to like what I want to do. Like there's this one kid I talked to last year, he just graduated. He was a former medic in like I think it was like the military or something. Like he literally did like nurse work for like military veterans and like was deployed and all that stuff. And he came here, thought he was gonna do health science, and he was like, no, I like economics. And now he works for, I think he just got a job, some like electrical company. It was like something that wasn't completely related, but he was super happy with it. Yeah. So it's like and it doesn't happen overnight, obviously. Like you're gonna have to grind a little bit, you're gonna have a little difficulty because you took other classes and you might have to do something. Another thing that I did was my first advisor that I had, the best advice that she gave me was, I think you get credit for 6 classes. That's what your tuition pays, but most people take 5. I took the 6 because I paid for it. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm putting the money, I had to pay everything for myself. So I was like, if I'm gonna pay money to go to college, like I'm gonna make my time worth it. So that was able to take so many more classes. It was able to double major. That's not for everybody, obviously. Like some people just don't want to take extra classes, but it's like kind of like the thought of like try new things. Like if you don't, a lot of people, even you, like you already have the advantage of like saying like, hey, this isn't for me as your freshman year, and like move.
Right.
A lot of people like wait to their like senior year. They take all these classes and they're like, you know what? I decided I just got my degree and I don't want to do this. And it's like, all right, well then where were these thoughts when you were taking it and like you didn't enjoy the content that you were learning? So I think that's kind of just follow what your passions are. Like if you like a certain class or you like a certain professor, I did that a lot. Like if you like a professor, just be like, all right, what are you teaching next? Like I'm there. Like, and if you get a good relationship with them, always say hi, always talk to them. There's ways for them to get you in that class, even like so you don't have to register. Like registration day like of classes was stressful for everybody. It was not stressful for me because I set up everything because I had like professors. I was like, all right, I want to take your class, like sign me up early, whatever. Didn't matter. And so it never had an issue. I mean, it does get easier as you become older and more seasoned at Quinnipiac. They let you pick your classes earlier, but it's stuff like that, just like the little things of just gather relationships with your peers, your teachers, anybody that you possibly can. I know that's like what they tell you and you're like, oh, I don't care, I'll have my own friend group, but it's really good to have like, I have so many people in different like if I needed to, I work in the financial and planning team, but I know people who work for like Travelers. If I know people who work in banking, like I know people who work on Wall Street. It's like all this crazy stuff that like, if I ever wanted to change stuff, I could talk to them and be like, hey, teach me about your job. Like, what do you do? How can I get there?
Right.
I mean, granted, I am pretty happy with my job. We'll get to what I do in a bit, I'm sure, but it's stuff like that. Just you got to get out of your comfort zone. Just and that's super hard to like.
Yeah, it is hard. Like this was definitely something I like. I
I
don't.
respect that. Yeah, I
I
respect
don't
it.
do this. This is something
Yeah,
completely. I could
that's
have
awesome.
like I could have just taken the easy route, but I was just like, why not? You gotta meet
Yeah,
people.
no, and it's super hard to, and anybody who messages me that I don't know, I'll try to like, I put myself in my shoes. It is really tough to write a message to someone you don't know and just be like, well, send, I hope they've responded.
You're the only one who responded to me. I sent it to like 3 other people.
Yeah. And then some people don't respond, they do other stuff. I'm lucky. I get them on my text. Like I have to set up for text. So it's like if someone messaged me on Bobcat Connect, I'm like, I get a text message. So I'm like, oh, cool, whatever. So I've done a few of these, honestly. So I was pretty familiar with them because like I did a few for I think last year, but I do enjoy doing it just because I like telling you guys like the stuff that your professors are telling you isn't that wrong. Like I sat in the back of class, said no words, some of the classes, and I was like, this is stupid. I'm never gonna need this, like whatever. But talk to the person next to you, learn a little bit about them, even if it's like my best friend in college was from California. Like I was like, like we just met, just like a weird situation. His dad was like in Timmy Turner and stuff, and I was like, oh, that's cool.
Good
Like I
connection.
Timmy Turner. Like so it was like we were just really good friends right from the bat. Like in 4 years, I was never his roommate, which is weird. We were like best friends and never roommates. But
There's a lot of people like that. You just become
yeah,
just friends of yours, but like they're not. Like,
yeah, like would go out, would get dinner, would go out together, whatever, and then, but like split at the end of the night. It's like you're not my roommate, buddy. But it was cool. I that was another thing. Enjoy the people you live with. I had a weird situation.
I love it. I love it.
I love the independence. I loved all my roommates. I had like collectively, like not directly, but I've had like 15 different roommates just because, and it wasn't like I was like a problem child and I was like, I gotta get rid of this person or whatever. It was just each year I kind of found myself doing something different, learning something new. And it was just like, I can always go visit your room. I could go, like, it's no hard feelings, man. We're like, we're still friends, but like something else to do for me. So I kind of like just you're in like 4 years of this like kind of Quinnipiac's like a bubble, if that makes any sense. I know that's kind of like harsh to say, but you live in this like own little QU bubble that like everybody's kind of similar. Like you're at least all similar because you all went to the same school. Like you you all have that. So stuff like that is just like it's just such a cool opportunity. Like, and it took me a while to learn that. So like from freshman year, I was probably a little more quiet than I was senior year. And that's like, I'm sure you're probably going to be the same way. Like you get a little more comfortable, you meet more people, you find things that you love to do with people that you love. So it's like, it just gets better, man. And then when you graduate, like for this summer, I went to Nantucket with one of my roommates. And then next weekend, I'm going to like New York with my other roommates. So it's like, there's stuff to do. There's like, there's a lot more than just like go to class and get a 4.0 if you want.
Yeah, 100%.
And a lot of people you'll notice, I think, will think that like school is just like end process. Like I gotta take a test. I just gotta get a good grade. And then like, oh, I didn't do so good on this test. Like I'm not gonna be great at this particular thing. And it's like, that's not true. You failed one test, like get over it, move on. Like, as long as you were there to like be a better student, be a better person, that's all you can ask for.
Yeah, I completely agree. All right, so I'll go to the next question.
Yep.
How did you get the idea to pick your job, and where have you worked in the past?
Ooh, that's an interesting question. So I'll give you a pretty decent answer. So when I graduated, well, actually, I'll go a little back further. So when I was at Quinnipiac, my junior year, I was actually an intern at Northwestern. I was not a great intern. I come from a single parent household. I don't know if you're too familiar with Northwestern internship. It has a pretty bad rep just because like a lot of kids will have, it's just more of like kind of selling to your immediate family kind of thing. So it's like for someone, I don't have any cousins like uncles and aunts that I talk to. I don't have like my dad's friends to go talk to. So it wasn't really great opportunity for me to like, hey, let me just pick up this phone and like, here's this 21-year-old to go buy stuff off of. Like, I kind of knew that, but I kind of was a little curious about like the industry and like what their job looks like every day.
Right.
So I mean, I worked in Norwalk, Connecticut, trained on Park Avenue, which was pretty cool. It's like a nice fancy building in New York. Learned a lot. I was basically mentored under this one girl. Her name was Lindsay. Lindsay ultimately, this is a funny story. Lindsay ultimately was like she became the advisor for my mom, just because my mom didn't really know too much about retirement. She like, to give you an example, like she had a 401k. She worked at Bank of America her whole life, and like her whole stock portfolio was like all Bank of America. And it's like, I think as a finance major, you probably know, like, you probably should diversify that. Like, but she worked through Bank of America through like 2008. So when it was like $2 a share, she had like
okay, that's not bad.
Yeah, but you don't want that like your whole life. So I was like, all right, as I get older, like I want my mom to have like a little more, like I didn't waste my time at Quinnipiac. Like, can you like look at this and like just at least like like asset allocation needs to be a little better than 100% Bank of America. So Lindsay took on that. She actually went to Merrill Lynch, which is funny. So now she works at Merrill Lynch, which is a sister company, like basically Bank of America. So well, Bank of America owns them, but so they have a great relationship. They still work together. I actually, from my internship, I was like the last intern to make it. I didn't do that much, I'm going to be honest. I didn't make that many calls, but I did enough impression where they kept me for the whole senior year. Yeah, the whole senior year, they gave me $100 a week, which isn't that much, but that's good beer money when you're a senior in college.
What about the experience? What about the experience at that point? I feel like
yeah, but $100 a week. I still worked in college. I wored as a server at Friendly's. It was great.
Oh, $100. I tried it the first time when I got to Quinnipiac. So
good. The ice cream. Yeah. So it was just what was I gonna say? Stuff like, like you just think little things like that. So it made my senior year a little bit easier. I had $100 coming a week. Sometimes I wouldn't check the mail, so I'd have like 4 checks, and I'd be like, oh, $400, let's go to the liquor store. Amity, baby. You know what I'm saying? So that was cool. So but I knew that wasn't like a career that I could really make money off of, because you start at zero. Like you got to sell and make commissions to make that job. So I knew I only had a certain amount of time to do it. You get 9 months after you grad, something like that. I forget the exact amount. We'll just say 9 months that until your student loans came on. So I was like, all right, I got like this little gap that like I can try it. Lindsay went to Merrill Lynch, so I was like, you know what, I'm not going to stay here that long. I don't know anybody at this facility. So I left. I went to Bank of America, where I became kind of like a personal banker. I absolutely hated it. I worked there for a year and a half. I did not like anything about it. My biggest complaint, my brother and my mom both work for Bank of America. So I absolutely hated working in the same company as them. It's like you get home and it's like, my brother lives in Arizona, but still I'd still be talking to him about Bank of America. And it's like, I don't want to do that. Like I want to like separate work and family kind of thing. So I hated it. Like I'd come home and my mom would be like, oh, what happened at work today? Like, oh, I know that person. Do you know this person? Like, really, we don't want to do this. So it was funny. I was actually on vacation. I got a bad review on my 1 year, which everybody agreed with me that it was kind of garbage. So I appealed it. I had 11 managers because I worked in 13 different banks during COVID, because they just kept moving me and making me do all the ATM service work.
13 different banks.
13 different banks. They just kept moving me. So I was like, they gave me a bad review after working 1 year. I was training everybody. I only worked there for a year and I was still training people and working in 13 banks. So I was like, yeah, no bad review here. I'm gonna go appeal that up. And so I got my appeal overturned and they were like, all right, so you're gonna get like a decent we're gonna like throw this old one out. And I had a week of vacation the week after that. So I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, and she was like, all right, well, enjoy your week off. Like, I know that was stressful. That wasn't fair, but just go, just take your week off and enjoy it. So it was funny. I was up in New Hampshire. I applied for a job. It was a quick, like, apply job on LinkedIn. I was like, okay, we can do this. Like, send it. I was still on vacation. In like 12 minutes, I got an email back on LinkedIn. I was like, hey, you want to like interview? And it was the guy that I work with right now. I probably liked him in the interview process more than I wanted to, if that makes any sense. I was just like, what am I doing here?
To it, but like,
yeah, like what am I doing here? Kind of like just I didn't really expect like 12 minutes to get like a job interview. So just kind of like the weird things that do happen. Liked him more than I wanted to, and I ended up taking the job.
what was the job?
So I work as an operations assistant for just a financial advisor. So I kind of do all his, like basically all the onboarding stuff. So like apps, client onboarding, anything with underwriting. So he just basically sells and I do the rest of it. I work on a team with 5 people. He's pretty cool at Northwestern. He's like the head of the life insurance committee, which is like a big deal. So
Right.
it's great. I met so many cool people and so many cool jobs. Just like the clients he works in. And then I just started last month. I just started working for a guy who used to play in the NFL. So he's the center.
What guy?
His name's Travis Swanson. I don't know if you know Matthew Stafford.
Of course I know Stafford.
Probably. Yeah.
I'm a big football guy, so.
Okay. So he was the center for Matthew Stafford in Detroit. So
Really?
are you like a Patriots fan or Giants
Oh,
fan?
Jets fan.
Oh, I'm a Giants fan, so we both suck.
I don't hate the Giants.
So do you remember like the game, it was like the Miami versus New England game that was like the triple lateral and like
The last second one?
yeah.
Yeah, of course.
The center on that play. Yeah, the center on that play was the guy. So it's pretty funny because he was like telling us like that play, like
that was recent though.
Yeah. He's only like 31. He retired he not so long ago. But he was like telling us, he was like, we didn't think that anything was gonna happen, but he was like, when we saw a hole, he was like, oh crap, I gotta go run downfield and go block somebody. Like I didn't think this was a chance in hell that we were gonna even score it, and ended up winning. So it's been a really cool experience getting to know him. He lives in Arkansas, so I'm in New Hampshire. We got to do a lot of like tech support. I work in Manchester, so kind of outside Boston. I love New Hampshire. No income tax is great. I think it's super peaceful. I didn't like Connecticut that much. I kind of felt like I was like, I'm wearing my course. I lived there. I went to college there. I was like, eh. And honestly, when I applied for this job, I really, at the bottom of my heart, really thought I was going to end up in Arizona with my brother, just because I was like, it's hot down there. Like, there's stuff to do. I've never been out there.
Really nice. Really nice.
Yeah, it's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. I was one of the people who was like, oh, the Grand Canyon's stupid, and then I saw the Grand Canyon. I was like, okay, no, I get it. Like, this is really cool. So, stuff like that. And it was just like I applied, liked him more than I wanted to. The guy like I worked directly with, we kind of like the same job, but he's just like he just basically taught me everything. He was from Connecticut too. Like he lived like 15 minutes away. He's like 3 years older than me. It's like perfect chemistry. We work great together just because we're like super similar. We grew up in the same area, similar backgrounds. And so it's been really great. I like working here. Just super cool. So I have a weird kind of situation. So like I work for Northwestern, but not really. I get paid by, his name is Nick. He's the advisor. He works for Northwestern. But he has his own like DBA because it's a super entrepreneurial kind of business, which I love because I do not like corporate America. It did not really work for me. That was like my huge thing with Bank of America. Like there's a manager every step of the way. Right. I was like, all right, like I don't like being micromanaged. Like I want a little freedom. So that's kind of like why I said yes to this job, because it was like entrepreneurship. And he was just like, we'll just figure out what you're good at and then go from there. And I was like, that's really all I needed to hear. Like, right. I don't really have a dream title or like dream job that I want to do. Like, I want to enjoy what I do, like with the people that I work with. Cause like life's short, man. Like, I don't want to be one of those people who's just like, I could be an analyst and sit in a box all day and just like type and like, here's my report. Like now I can go home. Like, I didn't really want to do that. So I did get a few job offers to like be like an investment banker. And I'm like, they pay a lot of money, but you work 80 hours a week. And it's like, do I want that? No, I don't.
How
So
many? What's your day to day like?
I work 8 to 4. I get there at 8. Depends kind of the different day. So it's like mornings I usually bang out. And if Nick has any reviews or Travis needs anything, or if it's just kind of catching up on emails. A lot of times you just kind of have like an email of like, hey, I need this app sent out to this client. Here's all their information put together, send it out. Let me know if you have any questions. So it's just basically just a lot of paperwork that I preset for people. I call them if they need to do something. Like, so if I do life insurance, so it's like, for example, you fill out a question weird or something, and the underwriter who's reviewing the case wants to look at it a little bit. They'll send it to me, and then I have to relay information to the client. So sometimes it's a little like weird questions. They're like, hey, like, when did your aunt have colon cancer? And it's
Yeah.
just like, it's
They
like
just
stuff like
bounce
that.
stuff
Like,
like
yeah,
that.
like you can't do anything about it, but like it is important, and it's like you get why that those questions are asked. But I personally like it. I love the idea that I work for an entrepreneur, which is great because it's like I have a little more say in what I want to do with my career. I still don't know what that is, but like
Um,
I like that. I don't like the idea, like Bank of America was super rigid in the fact that like you work here for a year and then maybe you take a next step and you go here for 2 years and then you go either from here to here. And it's like, you just have like this like corporate ladder that you just follow this tree of like, you go here, then here, and then here, and then you're done. And it's like, okay, that kind of sounds boring. Like,
It's kind of like what being a doctor is like. You just have to go to
yeah,
medical school and that. But it just wasn't
yeah.
for me. So I understand
Yeah,
where
it's just like each step, and it's just like even for being a doctor too, it's like when am I getting paid? Like, like
yeah.
I'm gonna have a job like when I'm like 30, and then I'll get money, but like I'm in so much debt because it's like I went to school my whole life, and it's like it's tough, and I respect a lot of doctors for that, but yeah, no, I couldn't do that either. So it was just something that like it's like the same thing that like you kind of probably had with health science. It's just like I felt like I just hated my job, and I didn't like my mental health kind of took a little not too bad of a hit, but like I wasn't like
Find
as
it.
happy. Yeah, I wasn't as happy as like stuff that I really wanted to do. Like I didn't love what I was doing. And like I kind of can feel that like this place at least has potential for me to be like, oh, like I love what I'm doing. I'm helping people. We went to Milwaukee the other week for or like last month for an annual meeting. It was like 5 days of conferences, just learning, meeting people from all over the country. It was sweet, had so much fun. Drink a lot of beer because it was Milwaukee. Great time, stuff like that. Like I could travel here. Like Bank of America didn't let me travel. They would send me traveling and like go fix this ATM. Like great. Like this is so fun. Like love it. It was just something a little different. So like, my advice for you there is like your first job is probably not going to be your last job, and kind of just
Yeah.
like ask yourself like, am I doing what I like to do? Are the people around me like putting me in a situation that could put me in the place that I want to be? Here, I do feel like that. Like if I have a question or like I want to go a different direction, I can. Bank of America, I couldn't do that. Like I felt like it was like super rigid. Like I'm a personal banker, and then after I'm personal banker, I'm like a better personal banker. I'm like, wow, this is so sick. Like love this. So it was like kind of stupid. I didn't really like the idea of having I think I've worked for like 15 different managers in a year at Bank of America. It was ridiculous. So it was like instability, like it's like you couldn't really get any advancement in your career when like you have to impress a new person each month kind of thing. Like here we go again. Like I know how to do my job, but you don't know me. So I have to show you that I know how to do my job again. So that was super frustrating. And I think like any company that has like a whole lot of turnover is like very frustrating for at least for me to work in. Because like I'm not building any relationships. I'm not having any fun. Like I'm just kind of in there for me to get a paycheck and then leave and go home, which I don't want personally. Sometimes that is for people, but not really for me. Cool. Yeah.
All right.
Um, but yeah, I think after that, I don't know where we're going from here, but well, my boss's new goal is once we get 100 million in assets under management, he wants to take us to the F1 race in Miami. So that is the goal. We have till March to get there, and
Cool.
that's what the focus is now. So
All right. So I'll ask the next question.
yeah,
What was your biggest personal obstacle to get where you are now?
biggest personal obstacle. There's quite a few, but I think the best piece one I would give you is probably like just confidence. Is a lot of times like you kind of have like a little bit of an imposter syndrome, a
Yeah.
little bit. You kind of like, maybe I don't belong here. I came from like a super like kind of a low income family, which when I went to Quinnipiac, it was freaking weird because it's like these people like, they're like, oh, like what does your dad do? And he's like, he's the CEO of like whatever, whatever. And like my dad was in prison my whole life. So I was like, what am I gonna say in that question? Like I'm just gonna skip that answer. So it was a little different. Just different, completely different worlds, but that was kind of the good thing. So I was like, when I first got into Quinnipiac, I was really quiet and I was like, hey, like maybe this college thing isn't for me. Like I don't know about private school. Probably should have went to community college. I'd fit right in right there. But so kind of just like work through it, man. Like you by the time I was like a sophomore, I got great grades. So I was like, I was doing my work. I was making friends. So I was like, you know what, I could kind of hang here. Like I met good people. I think that's another great thing. Is like if you don't have like at least two friends that you could talk to about literally anything, go find those people because you're gonna need them at some point in your college journey, no matter what. Like some dude that you can just be like, hey, listen, like can we talk for a bit? And it's not weird. It's not gonna be like come up at like 12 o'clock in the morning ever again. Like just someone that you can trust, I think is super important. Someone who like trusts you and is like you, because sometimes you'll be like a little down. Like I say you failed the test and you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this. And then like you just need to hear like, bro, it's one test. Like you're a smart kid. Keep going. So that's like kind of all it is. It's just like a lot of people give up. A lot of people are like, just they doubt themselves. And I think for no reason. So I think the biggest obstacle that you can get is like just get out of your own head. Like you made it to Quinnipiac, they accepted you. Now like you're smart enough, man. Like you got enough hard work, you got enough this, you got enough that. Like you can hang, just show it. Like don't, and like just you don't need to be like I felt like I had to be quiet because I felt like I was stupid, like compared to everybody else. Cause like I just didn't know what it was. But like sometimes you need to be the dude who raises his hand and asks the question that like everybody's wondering, but nobody wants to ask. And then kind of stuff like that. So it's like a real easy way for me to get into that was just like talk to the person next to you in class. Cause you're like, if you're just like, hey man, do you have like any idea what's going on here? Like maybe we need like a study group or something. Like I had, cause this dude's going way too fast, or this class is boring. Like I don't need to work as hard on this class as I do on our other class that we have together. Like you want to get a study guide, we'll bang this quick out and then like actually work on this. And doing that, you guys already, like you and that person already have similar interests because you're taking the same class. So you're probably going to find something else that you have similar interests because like you guys ended up there in the same spot. So stuff like that, always find someone that you can rely on. Find some good professors that you trust. Even like I still talk to all my professors like all the time. Like if one of my professors messaged me on LinkedIn and was like, hey, do you want to like go do this like alumni club meeting? Like I'd be like, yeah, definitely. Like whatever, just who's going? Like who do I get to see? Like even like the people like on like social media school. Like I still talk to like people in finance school and economic school. I don't even like use Instagram that much, but like there you go. You can go. We're still friends. So it's like stuff like that. Like it's, I think a lot of people focus on college being like school, and it's like it is school, but there's like a whole lot of like other stuff that like you can explore, you can learn, you're on your own, and that's like beautiful. Like it's not high school where they tell you what to do. Like you have control, man, and like that's like your first step of like as an adult, if that makes sense. Like I knew
Yeah, yeah.
that I like to make my own decisions and I like to maybe a little too controlling sometimes. So it's like entrepreneurship kind of works a lot better for me than a corporate environment. So just, and I only learned that because I messed it up. Like I spent a year like, this isn't for me. So kind of stuff like that. So go out there, you're gonna fail at some things.
Oh yeah, listen.
That's a good thing though, because it's like that's how you learn. I mean, that's how I learn at least. Fail and then
Yeah.
never gonna do that again.
I went to a private school in high school, so like they always have like these weird quotes.
Yeah,
Like failing means like the acronym is first attempt in learning. So
yeah,
so
it's true though. It's like,
yeah.
but a lot of people don't have that mentality. So it's like if you can get that, you're already ahead.
All right, so I'll go to the next question.
Mhm.
Well, the next question was, is it difficult to maintain a work-life balance? But we kind of answered that.
I honestly don't think so. I think this is a horrible answer, and I wouldn't say this like too loud, but I think a lot of people are super over dramatic about school at like I was always kind of smart a little bit. Like I was able to go to class and always take a test, do really well on it. So I do have that advantage. And I know it comes off a little cocky, but like I'm sorry, but
The same way.
there's some people who just like you just look at them and like you get stressed watching them like prepare for stuff. Like I like the people who study for like 5 hours on a test, and I'm just like, if you have to study for 5 hours, why are you going to the class? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing the whole time that you're there for an hour listening to? And like, do you not like intake everything slowly? And then when the test comes, like you only need a small review that like, because you already learned everything because you did your job. Like if you study for 7 hours for a final exam, like the night before, you're not going to do that great on the final exam. I'm going to be honest. Like you're going to overthink everything and you're going to mix everything up. So it's like, I learned that like, hey, you know what? An extra hour of sleep might be a little better than an extra hour of studying. And a lot of people would look at you like you are crazy. And you're just like, no,
Not me. I
yeah,
definitely I do the same thing.
yeah, I'm the same way.
I just have that natural like I'll figure it out. Like it
Yeah,
can't be.
that's the way, like that's the confidence thing is just like, you know what,
Huh.
been here before, it won't be that bad.
Yeah.
And that I mean, you already got the step ahead of most people your age. And I think you'll see that now that like you're looking for it. It's just like the people who stress out about everything and don't have a good time doing what like you should be liking what you learn, if that makes sense. Like if you
Yeah,
don't
that was a
like
big
what
problem
you
last year.
learn,
This year
yeah,
I think it way more. It's way more
yeah,
interesting.
like if you don't like what you learn, why are you there? Like I don't like because I mean I know a lot of health science majors who are like that stuff's hard, man. Like I don't know how to do biology, or they
It's
don't know how to do
night and day,
finance.
night and day,
Like
night
so
and day.
it's the same thing, and they're like, oh, it's so hard. Like I gotta take biology or whatever. Like, oh, okay, like and like you signed up for that class. Like you
Yeah,
looked at the syllabus, you know what was in store for you. Like I don't feel bad. So just kind of like that. Like you kind of just have to do what works for you, man. Like and different strokes for different folks kind of thing. Like
right.
what works for you probably doesn't work for the dude next to you, but it might. So
Why not? All right. Next question. You don't have to answer this if you're not comfortable, but if you could share anything about salary and how you kind of worked it out, I guess.
so I started pretty low, honestly. So my thing is, let's see, what did I start with? I worked at Bank of America. I stayed at home just because it was a little easier, just because it was cheaper. I have to pay a lot of money in student loans. I got like 50% basically paid for in scholarships when I went to Quebec, but there's still 50% of a lot of expensive stuff to pay for. I had to pay for that all on my own, so it was a little difficult. So it's like it was like $1,000. Well, actually, it was actually a lot more than that. It was like $1,500 a month for my student loans, which is like a freaking house payment. So
Right.
that sucked. My credit wasn't that great just because I came from a pretty poor environment and I didn't really like I didn't have a credit card until I was like 23. Like I worked at Bank of America for like 6 months and they wouldn't give me a credit card because my credit was so bad. But I worked at the bank and I fixed my credit and now I have a decent amount of credit scores, like a decent amount of credit cards. I don't have any credit card debt because like I learned how to use it, but you need credit cards to build credit, which is stupid, and you can't build credit without credit cards, but they won't give you the credit card unless you have. It's just a mixed up system, so it's like getting out of that was a little annoying. But I was able to refinance my student loans, which is kind of the whole reason that I was able to move up here, make it a little easier. I started about like 45, which is a little low for a guy with 2 college degrees at Bank of America. I switched over to here. I get a lot of my money in bonuses here, which is like, so it's hard and to
However you
answer.
get it, doesn't matter. As long as you
Yeah,
get the money, you know.
yeah, that's how I feel. And I don't in New Hampshire, I save a lot of money just because I don't pay state income tax. So depends. Uh like my bonus will be pretty decent this year. Last year it was like I last year I worked for 2 months and I got a $5,000 bonus for doing nothing. Like I was just training and he was like, here's $5,000. I was like, okay, cool. So this is sick. I might stay here. So like stuff like that. Like I get a lot of perks with like I get free lunches, I get free like all this stuff. We're building a cool suite in our little office. So we have this like little boxed in stuff. So I can get my own desk and stuff, all that stuff. But usually depending, it's probably like around 70.
Whoa.
But
Wait, you get 70 before or after the bonus?
probably a little higher with the bonuses, but somewhere around there,
Pretty
which
good.
isn't bad. But I could, yeah, no. When I was applying for this job, I didn't think that I was gonna be here. to be honest. It's just kind of one of those things. I was just like, yeah, we'll see how this interview goes, and it went way better than I thought. So I'm here. But I thought I was gonna honestly be an underwriter. My brother's an underwriter for Bank of America. He makes decent money. He didn't even go to college, so I was like, you know what, I could go figure it out over there. I would hate that job, straight up. I would be honest. I work with underwriters now every day, and I'm like, oh my God, I would be so bored of just looking at papers and reading and sitting in my office and not talking to anybody. My brother works from home and talks to like 2 people a day, and I'm like, oh my God, I would bash my head into the wall. So it's funny because it's like everything kind of worked out, but there's just a lot of places that like I can grow, which is super cool. Because like when I went to annual meeting, and this kind of stuck with me, and I was like, I'm so jealous of this girl, is she has like the same role as me, but she works for quite a few advisors. And what's cool about Northwestern is it's super entrepreneurial. So it's like, if you can find what you want to do, like, and your whoever is supporting you lets you do it, like, you can go find stuff. So what she does is she goes and trains other like offices, and she says her goal, and I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. She wants to make $300,000 working 20 hours a week. I was like, I love her. I was like, we're gonna be friends on LinkedIn. Let me know how you doing that, and then
That's good plan.
give me the notes to that. So she was telling me how she goes to like she does basically like just Zooms with people that they have questions. Like, they get paid by the office and goes right into her pocket. And I was like, that is sick, because like I wouldn't have thought of that. Like, it's stuff like that. Like, you just have to talk to people, and they're like, wow, that's genius. Like, I'm smart enough to teach people. Like, I can help other people, especially like learn new things, just because everything's always changing, especially with technology. Like, I'm sure you're aware of that, just the way you are. Like, if you look at like how Facebook or Twitter looks differently from when you started, like everything in the same is like the same in the finance industry. Like, it's funny because we still do a lot of things on Excel, and there's like so many different programs that like you can do all this stuff in. And I'm like, oh, standard, like I'm a boomer kind of thing, like still using Excel, and I love it, and it's comfortable. And so stuff like that, everything changes. So there's always something new to learn, always something new to teach. So I never really thought about it like that, like from an entrepreneur perspective, like, oh, I can just go train people, or I go like mentor people, or go do this thing and get paid for it. Like, that's sweet. I couldn't do that at Bank of America. Like, nobody would care, which is which is pretty cool. But like, it's just like how a mindset is kind of changing of like, I can kind of do this on my own, which I personally love. I didn't like having to be like, oh, let me go ask my manager if I can go do that. Like, oh, let me go like see if I can get approval for this. Like, no. I mean, like, I obviously for compliance stuff, like, don't listen to me like on that part. Like, compliance, follow your compliance stuff, like follow the rules. But like, other than that, like, if you want to learn something that's like maybe not in your job description, or you want to go do something else, like, go for it. Like, we just hired another person on the team. He's gonna be the planner. He works as a adjunct professor at SN or Southern New Hampshire University, which I think is super cool. So he doesn't know if he wants to keep his job yet, but like he would work here and then like still have his other job where he gets paid from by the university, and that's what he does at nights. And he loves teaching, so it's like it's not like a job for him. It's more like a hobby, and it's like that's super cool to me. It's something I would love to do, possibly down the road. But I don't know how I'm gonna get there quite yet, but I guess that's the fun part, I would say, just the whole journey. So I hope that answered your question a little bit.
What else? What advice would you give to a college student in finance? I mean, you kind of answered that one.
See if I can think of anything else.
How competitive is the field that you're in?
Pretty competitive, but I think I feel like you're also probably pretty competitive. I don't know if you grew up as like a sport athlete or anything like that.
Yeah, I hate losing.
So my whole background, I was a basketball player. I played AAU. I played like I played in like the Nike circuits and all that stuff. Like, I played against like Karl Anthony Towns, like all the NBA players. I played with a bunch of people who play in the NBA that I still talk to. So I played at like a super high level.
In the NBA?
Yeah, I don't know if you know who Wenyan Gabriel is. He plays for the Lakers.
Right now, or is he on the G League now?
I don't know if he was playing at the Lakers at the end of the year, but he's from Massachusetts, and he played high school basketball with one of my AAU teammates, so I met him a few times. Super cool dude. There's also a giant safety that just signed with them. His name is Jason Pinnock. He's from Windsor.
Oh, yeah, he was on the Jets.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you guys caught him. Thank you very much. That guy is my dude. He used to come to Bank of America in Windsor all the time. I used to talk to him all last year. Like, I did all his like rookie transactions for the Jets. Like I was like holding his like signing bonus check and all that stuff. Dude is like the nicest dude ever. Love that guy.
I was
Super
sad.
happy. Yeah, my buddy is a Jets fan, so I was like, thank you for him. I actually knew the dude, so I was like, this is my dude. Like, I can't wait to watch him play. So
He's supposed to be so good, but
yeah, I hope he's great for us, and I hope that I can rub it in all the Jets fans for the rest of my life. But you guys will get there. You just need a quarterback.
the game is brutal.
Yeah.
From Quinnipiac just to watch us get destroyed.
Yeah. Well, I'm a Giants fan, so I'm like living this is like my 1 week that like I can actually
enjoy it. The victory
it's not coming that much more. Like I know that. But stuff like that, man. It's just like the people that you get to meet, even like one of the kids in Quinnipiac, he plays for freaking Florida Panthers, and like even Tom Caves. Which one?
Is it Ty Spilnack?
Chase Presky. I don't know where he still plays for. One of them. I'm decent friends with Chase. I talk to him all the time. Like when he was playing in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and I like messaged him. I was like, hey man, can I like be a bandwagon fan just because I know you? Like, is that cool? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. Like, go Panthers. And I was like, hell yeah, like this is sick. And like Devon Taves, like I watched him play at Quinnipiac.
Yeah, I was rooting for him. So I'm a diehard Rangers fan, but
yeah.
I was going to all the playoff games. My dad grew up with that stuff, and I went to.
So I love, and it's funny because before I went to Quinnipiac, I didn't know anything about hockey. Like I was a basketball player. I didn't play basketball. Like I don't know how to skate. I've asked Chase. I'm like, Chase, you gotta teach me how to skate. That's like my one goal. So it was like, but it was cool because it's like Devontae's like he brought Quinnipiac to a national championship. We lost that year. That's my freshman year, I believe.
I want to experience that so much. Like one of the reasons I came.
Go to the games, man. Definitely go to the games.
I'm a
free tickets.
Yeah, I'm a diehard hockey. Like me and my dad have been going since I was 3 years old. Like,
I love it.
Like die hard. Like
so
that's the reason I came here. They gave me the most money, but also I was
that's the same decision. It's like I got money and I like, oh, I'm gonna learn something. It's funny because my buddy, the kid from LA, he was the editor for the newspaper, huge hockey kid. He actually worked for the Toronto Raptors while I was, it was sick. So like if you go on Instagram after the Raptors game, they used to post like a scoreboard of like the final score of like Raptors 96, right. 76 was 88, and then like who scored or whatever. He did all that stuff. And so I remember like if there's like Friday night games, we'd get pissed because like we would have to wait for the Raptors game to end before we can go out because he had to finish his job. So we'd be like going out at like 10:30 because we're like, God damn it, the Raptors play like the Lakers or something. Like stuff like that.
That's once a year, the time zone.
Yeah. So it was stuff like that, but it was super cool because I was like working like actually like an NBA team. Like this was like real stuff that like I was like, oh, like I'm doing this in college and like transferable skills that like people are paying you to do that. That's sweet. So I there's a lot of cool people at Quinnipiac. You just gotta like meet them and talk to them and you're like, oh wow, like your dad runs this company. That's crazy. Like let's be friends. Like I want to learn more. So it's stuff like that. I found a lot of friends actually at the hockey games, stuff like that. So
everyone's just drunk and watching the game. Like you're bound to meet someone. You know?
Yeah, it's so fun. Like and tickets are free except for Yale. Well, actually, I got my Yale tickets for free.
No, Yale that's a different breed game.
You got to go to at least one.
I did. No, I went last year.
Okay, good. So,
and then this year it's 2 days after my birthday, so because it's gonna be end of mid-February.
I should see if my buddies want to go to the Yale game.
Yeah, because that like usually I heard it usually happens during winter break, but I guess now it's February 17th. So
yeah, I remember they moved it to February. I remember going to see it in February and it was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
I feel like are we supposed to be good this year? I didn't even look at the roster.
Yeah.
I mean, we're always supposed to be good. We're Quinnipiac, you know.
One thing we have, I can't wait.
Yeah, we don't have a football team, but like
I saying the same thing. I was so upset. Like so
it's super weird too, is because like I grew up in Connecticut and I used to go to basketball camps at Quinnipiac, and it looks so much different than when I was a kid. So
really?
like obviously like the schools put so much money into the school, like just developing it. Like I was like 8, 9, and I was like, whoa, like, and I ended up going there. So look at that. Funny story.
I literally had no idea what Quinnipiac was until I started college crossing.
You're like, wow, this grass in the quad is amazing. I gotta go here.
Yeah. We have a joke that like we pay $69K for this grass because they're always.
That's what it is. But it is really nice grass, and nobody will walk.
I can't lie. I walk on it all the time.
Oh, people
I
are
have
looking
to
at
stand.
you. Yeah,
And
see, people are like, what is this kid? Why is he standing on my grass?
if I have to cut through, I'm cutting through. I'm a New Yorker.
Yeah.
Like,
No, if I'm late, I'm gonna cut through. I'm gonna go diagonal across to what's that? Engineering building. Best building.
yeah, that's where I cut
Oh,
through.
also that's another great advice. The library in the law library. That's my favorite library. 100%. Nobody ever goes there. It's amazing. Because like everybody's like, oh, like finals week. Let me go like to the main lobby or like the main library. No, go find somewhere else to go. Like,
Yeah.
law library. If you haven't been there, gem, absolute gem of the place. I learned so much there just studying and people leaving me alone because nobody goes there.
All right, I'll ask the last questions. I asked you what the day-to-day life is like there. Did I?
Yeah, just kind of like it honestly depends today. It depends cases, a lot of cases. We work with a lot of super high net worth people who are like make millions of dollars a year. So it's like depends on what it is that I have to do. A lot of things are simple, like, oh, this dude just needs permanent life insurance, or this dude just wants to roll over his IRA to us, or this dude wants his asset allocation to change, or this dude wants, and there's females too. I keep saying this dude. There's a lot of females who make tons of money and kick ass and entrepreneurs, and I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's like some people just like, she's like, oh, like I sell flowers and I make like 600,000, and I'm like, selling flowers, like what?
How much?
Like 600,000. Yeah, like it's business owners, man. Like there's a dude who's selling a flower company for $10 million that we're waiting for the roll.
That is why I switched into the finance field.
Exactly. Like, what am I doing? Why am I not selling flowers? But then that might be my next career path. So if you see my LinkedIn change to like flower sales, you know it's
Actually, I have to change my LinkedIn because it still says I'm a health science major.
yeah. Yeah. I honestly do use LinkedIn a lot. And I think you already had experience to reaching out to strangers and like, hey, they probably might not respond to me. That sucks. Just get over it. So
Yeah.
that's good on you. I give you credit. And you deserve, I hope a professor is watching this and gives you points. So you
Yeah,
get
no,
points
definitely.
for
That's definitely not gonna happen, but
reaching out reaching out to strangers.
I wish.
If you need me put in a note, I will.
I'm good. I just have to make it over 30 minutes and then
Cool.
yeah, we went 50, 51.
Yeah, so
I
she'll
have one
love
more
this
question.
video.
I have one more question.
Yeah, go for it.
Where do you see your life going from here?
I honestly have no idea, and that's super exciting to me. Again, I've kind of jumped around a lot in life. Never really lived in the same place. Like Quinnipiac, the 4 years living in Quinnipiac was the longest I've ever lived in the same spot, which is
Really?
just before like little kids. Like I just moved a lot just because like I was pretty poor when I grew up. so it's just like, where are we going now? So I honestly think that's like what I'm looking forward to the most is like more stability. I never really had that. I loved it at Quinnipiac. Like I had no idea what that was like until I got to Quinnipiac, and I was like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna stay here for 4 years. Like have the same friends, same professors, and they're still gonna be here. This is it.
Stability is one of the most important things, I think.
100%. So that's kind of what I'm looking for is like I could probably like you shouldn't say this a lot to them, but you could probably like job hop, make some more money. Like if you really wanted to go here, go work in the city, make a whole bunch of money, pay a whole bunch of taxes. But like that doesn't really interest me. I'm more into kind of seeing where this goes. I personally like the entrepreneurship side of this, as I've said. Kind of want to see where that goes. I don't really like if I go into sales, you make a lot of money, but I don't really want to sell anything, to be honest. Like I not really, it might happen, but not really what I want to do for the rest of my life, to be honest, but we'll see. So I kind of like what I do and I still see a lot of room for growth and improvement. So I'll continue in that. I'm not bored, so that's always a good thing. If I got bored, I would probably look for something else. Or if I get like, sometimes I just feel like, I don't know if you ever felt like this, but like life just feels stale. Like nothing's changed in a while, and you're like, all right, like let's just tear it all down and try something new. So I don't feel like that, and I don't think I will for a very long time. So I really enjoy that. The first day I worked here, my boss was like, I can't wait for you to work for the next 20 years. And I thought he was crazy. I was like, haha, you're funny, dude. But like, I could see it, to be honest. And it's weird.
Oh.
So kind of like it, but it's been a weird journey to get here. So it's like, you're gonna like I worked in between. I worked at Prudential for a little bit, but not really. Like they just contracted me so I could get my testing. So I was able to pass some tests and get some cool scoreboards, but after that, didn't really see much happening. And then was like, you're not paying me, so I'm leaving. So I gotta pay my stuff. So after that, I ended up at Bank of America, hated it. So it was like hate, and then I got here and I was like, what if I hate this? Like, I'm gonna be screwed, like I kind of hate all my jobs. I was like, that might not be good, but I do like it. So I found something I like, and then let's go from there. So I don't know. I feel like that's a horrible way to answer your question because I haven't given you. I just like
No,
circles and just like I don't know, man. But I like not knowing. Like that's fun for me because there's a lot for me to learn and a lot for me to like develop on. So if I did have an answer for you, that would be horrifying because that means like
you have it all
very
figured out.
decided. Like there's some people who are like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and then like once I turn 27, I'm gonna get married, and then like 28, I'm gonna like start this, and like no, you're not. Like, what life have you lived that like goes according to plan? Like
no
Jesus
shot.
take the wheel kind of thing. Like whatever happens. Like I'm gonna do everything that I can to control everything that I can, but like at the same time, I'm gonna be flexible and open enough. Like if somebody like I'm a huge basketball fan, so it's like someone's like, oh, do you want to do finance for like I'm a Pistons fan. I know you can make fun of me, it's embarrassing, but they're horrible. But like if someone's like that, like maybe that's what I do. Like you know what I'm saying? Like
How'd
I
you
would
get this? Wait,
I'm from Connecticut. I grew up playing basketball, and Rip Hamilton is played at UConn.
Okay.
Huge Rip Hamilton fan. That's like how I played basketball. Like if you watch me, you'd be like, oh, that dude literally just watches Rip Hamilton. That's how he plays. So it's a weird situation, and it's kind of funny, but like I did grow up. I don't really like Andre Drummond. I hope like this isn't getting reported and like blackmail me. But I grew up near him. He was from Middletown, Connecticut. So like he played for the Pistons for a long time. I thought that was cool.
Wait, which town are you from?
I'm from Southington.
Southern? Is that a town? Or is it...
Southington is like right in the middle.
Oh, Suddington.
Yeah, so it's like you're in Hamden. Cheshire is right next to Hamden, and then through Cheshire is Southington, and then through Southington is Bristol.
Okay.
So it was like I was right on the line of Southington and Bristol. But I played basketball in Farmington, which is a little more north of Connecticut. So it's like I was always somewhere different. Like it was crazy. So your fun fact for the day about me that most people find interesting. Let's see if I can find a picture of people from Connecticut. I bet you know who this is. Let's see if I can get it focused.
You can probably make it out.
Hold on.
Oh, no shit, I can make that out. Let me see.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Maybe you can. He's pretty famous. Let's see. Does it turn? No, this is horrible.
Oh no.
That's that. And then there is, I'm like right here. Where is it? I was like 12.
No, that's so bad. That's so bad to laugh.
See, there's me. And then yeah. So I used to play basketball with him all the time. It's just super weird, but
wow, that was probably a crazy thing for you.
Yeah, we used to have the same father figure. I know that sounds horrible, but it's true. His dad passed away, and then mine was in prison, so we were like basketball buddies. Weird situation. I have no plans to do any of that, so don't worry. Crazy story, and it was like weird that like I knew the guy, so that was what my childhood was similar to. So then I think you could figure out like me going to Quinnipiac was like super weird, but
yeah, definitely
super weird. Yeah, a completely different environment, but I loved it. So that's kind of like my challenge for you is like go find like some weird dude that like probably is a little interesting, might teach you something. Like don't a lot of people like I'm gonna make fun of some New Yorkers real quick, and you're gonna maybe this is you, I hope not, but there's a lot of people from New York who only hang out with people from like New York, New Jersey. Don't do that. No. Like go find somebody who's completely different from you. Like go challenge yourself. Like there's like those like I don't have a better word for it, but like those Jersey Shore friggin' groups that like everybody looks like they're like you guys probably like vacation together, you guys like live together, like you went to the same high school and you're still
my roommate is my high school, like one of my high school.
That's cool. That's cool. That's like your roommate. And like I know a lot of roommates who like went to school like, hey, we gotta go to this shit together. Like
yeah. Well, so I went to a private school, so my graduating class was 31. And we just happened to me and him go to the same high school, same school. So we kind of decided to room together. And then I live with someone from Fairfield, 2 people from Fairfield, Connecticut.
Oh, sweet.
Massachusetts and Paramus, New Jersey. So I have, and my ex-girlfriend from Fairfield. So I've kind of branched out.
Yeah. So yeah, that was my one challenge for you is as a New Yorker, don't just hang out with people from New York, New Jersey, because that is a thing. Um, but that's the same thing for anybody, like mass people hang out together, and like
Right.
everybody's from Boston, you know. So like
There's a lot.
go meet some diverse people. Go join some like weird clubs too. Like definitely like just even if you got to bring like your buddy, like you're just like, hey, like let's go see like what was it? Like there's like this international business dinner. I don't know if they have it in like November. I challenge you to go to that because it's like the best thing ever. As a college kid, you pay $5 and they cater all this food from like different cultures.
Really.
And after in November, I'm sure you're as a sophomore, you already know this, but like you don't want to eat that food anymore. So it's like when you get like an event that is like food, go to it. Like it's different food and it's awesome and you're gonna love it.
I
So
was thinking, yeah, I was thinking because I'm Jewish, so like there's like the Shabbat house or
oh yeah, there's
house. I've never been, but
I'm not Jewish, but I hung out a lot with the Jewish frats, and there was a
the
whole bunch
Jewish
of stuff.
frat.
There's a Jewish frat. I don't know which one it is, but there's definitely one. Um, there's also like that Albert whatever Institute.
I know what you're talking about. I don't know
I don't know how to say it. I'm not very Jewish. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
no.
butcher it and make it sound bad. But one of my buddies is actually it's hilarious. I should probably introduce you to him. He played on the rugby team. He's a Jewish kid who's a Jets and Rangers fan. So sounds pretty familiar.
I'm not religious though. Like I don't.
Yeah, no, he's not
I'm
either.
atheist basically. I just
Yeah.
ethnically.
Yeah, so he is too. I'm horrible as well. I actually celebrated, I think it's Yom Kippur. I think is that October?
Yeah, yeah.
I went, his mom invited me to celebrate with them because his brother lives in California. So it was like, he's not coming. So I played brother and then we went to a concert after. So it was like, and then I did one of those like fasting things that he did. I don't remember the
Yeah, you have
holiday.
to fast for 24 hours.
Yeah, so I did that with him. It was horrible. I was like, I'm Jewish now.
I've never
But,
done that. You're
yeah.
more Jewish than me. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, so yeah. I see. I went to the Jewish frat, and you didn't.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
It is a thing.
We just do a bad job of advertising it, I guess.
Yeah, I don't. I also don't think it's advertised as the Jewish frat. I was just friends with a bunch of Jewish people who call it Jewish frat. If that makes sense. Like
Okay.
I don't. But everybody was Jewish except for me. Like I didn't join the frat, but I would still go because it's a great time. And you guys have really good food.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I didn't have a Jewish bagel until like I got to college, and I was like, "Oh, you guys are definitely got this."
You get the lox cream cheese special too.
Oh yes, and I didn't see. It's funny because like when I was like, "What are you talking about, bro?" Like he's like, "No, you need to get this. Like this is it." I was like,
And it was.
"Yeah." So yeah, you guys kill it at bagels, 100%.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
I think it's a class at 5 o'clock, so I
Yeah,
gotta travel down and then get ready.
enjoy, man. It's been a pleasure talking to you.